everybody, and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video, we will be talking about how Donald Trump, the 2024 Republican candidate for president, of course, will speak at the Libertarian National Convention this May, in late May, to court these independent-minded third-party voters. Now, this is important. This is a big change from the attitude that candidates typically have towards the Libertarian nominee, towards Libertarian voters. They usually are not courted really at all because, they are said to be the most independent-minded, most anti-establishment, most anti-two-party system voters that you could get, and typically major party presidential candidates really don't think that Libertarians would possibly vote for them. Now, this is a big change, and I think that Donald Trump is right for doing this, and we'll get to how detrimental the Libertarian Party actually was to his failed re-election bid in 2020, but also he for once has a real chance of stealing a lot of these Libertarian voters, and that is because Donald Trump is really running. You can say what you want about his record as president, but he is probably running the most anti-establishment, most elitist, most anti-political class campaign this time around than he ever has before. I mean, what he says about the political class prosecuting him, through the legal system. I think something like that would appeal to many of these Libertarian voters, and I definitely think that a lot of these Libertarian voters see that as a major concern, the fact that, whatever, in their view, or in Trump's view, Joe Biden and the Democrats are prosecuting Donald Trump, because he is Biden's political opponent, the Democrats' political opponent. So I think that, for once, Trump could actually steal a very large portion of the Libertarian Party vote, and he recognizes that. Additionally, when you look at their field of candidates this time around, you don't have anyone that stands out. Looking back at 2016, we had Gary Johnson as the Libertarian nominee, the former governor of New Mexico, an actual high-ranking position, someone who, is actually maybe somewhat a recognizable name to many voters across the nation. And then you had Bill Weld, the former governor of Massachusetts, another governor, another high-ranking position, as the vice presidential nominee. So you actually had this notable ticket, this notable pair of running mates, and what you saw is that they got almost 5% of the nationwide vote. You can see, 4% in Arizona. They got 5% in Maine. They got 4% in New Hampshire, 3% in Georgia. Then you go to some of the Midwestern states. Gary Johnson got 5% in Wyoming, 6% in South Dakota, more than 6% in North Dakota, almost 5% in Nebraska. And then you actually saw, other independents. Evan McMullen got 8%. So, whatever. But Gary Johnson, the Libertarian Party had the best performance ever in 2016 than, ever in their history. And that is because, one, the major party candidates were extremely unpopular, but more so because they actually had established, notable, recognizable politicians. But this time around, this field, and you saw in 2020, Jo Jorgensen was the nominee, not a household name, and she didn't get much of the vote. But you can see in 2024, it might be even weaker than the 2020 field. I mean, I'm sure, unless you're a huge political junkie, or you cover Libertarian primaries, you most likely have never heard of any of these people. I mean, I don't know at all who is favored to be the nominee, right? It's just, we'll see after the convention. But this is not a strong field of candidates. So, basically, what all that means is that Trump definitely has a major chance to get a lot of this Libertarian vote, and it makes sense that he would speak at the Libertarian National Convention this May. And this could be very important for the campaign, because when you look back at 2020, even though the nominee Jo Jorgensen did not get nearly as much of the vote as Gary Johnson and Bill Weld did back in 2016, with the Libertarian votes, Donald Trump would have won. And I think this goes heavily unrecognized. We talk about so much how Jill Stein, quote-unquote, cost the election for Hillary Clinton and the Democrats in 2016. But in 2020, you see, and Donald Trump is mad about Jo Jorgensen. Trump hates Jo Jorgensen. He has talked about her in public and reportedly privately, and he really blames her for his election loss. You see, in Georgia, Biden won the state by just 0.2%. Jo Jorgensen won 1.24% of the vote. We never talk about the Libertarian Party, but 1.24% is a lot of votes, especially when Biden won the state by 0.2. In Arizona, you see that Biden won by 0.3. Jo Jorgensen won 1.5% of the vote. With her votes, Donald Trump would have won quite handily. You see, in Pennsylvania, Biden won by 1.2%. Jo Jorgensen won just almost 1.2% of the vote. And then in Wisconsin, you see Biden won by 0.6%. Jo Jorgensen won 1.2% of the vote. So, only in 3 states. But nonetheless, I don't think that, I don't know if Trump would have won without these states, but let's see. So 10 plus 16, 26 plus 11, so 37. So that would make it an electoral tie, actually. That would be 269 to 269. So in 3 states, Jo Jorgensen won a lot more of the vote than Biden's margin of victory. Now, I'm not saying that nearly all libertarians would have voted for Trump if the Libertarian Party wouldn't have existed. But when the margin is 0.2% for Biden and Jo Jorgensen won 1.2% of the vote, you can definitely expect, if the Libertarian Party had not existed, then you could definitely expect Donald Trump to win enough of that Libertarian vote, that 1.2%, to win the state. Just saying. So he needs this. That would be extremely important to his campaign. If the Libertarian Party, considering how weak their field is, considering how they share a lot of the ideals and they like a lot of what Trump is saying now with the the political prosecution through the legal system, abusing the legal system, and then Trump actually trying to court these voters, I think that you could definitely see the Libertarian vote be incredibly suppressed, incredibly shrunken down in 2024, even compared to 2020, when they didn't even win that much of the vote. But maybe even more importantly is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is actually also speaking at the event, and Trump, I feel, and this is another reason why the Libertarian vote will be so low, and it's because of the RFK Jr. factor. A lot of Libertarians do want RFK Jr. to be the nominee, even though they don't share, all ideals, they don't agree on everything. They feel that RFK Jr. is libertarian enough and is independent enough where it would be worth it to give him his support and give him a boost in the general election. Now, and then, we have seen how Trump is trying to really, is really on the attack against RFK Jr. lately, and he wants to keep enough of his voters, keep them away from going to the RFK Jr. side as much as possible. And this is just another attempt to do that, I feel. And Kennedy actually has debated Trump to an event because they are both speaking at the convention, so they will both be there. It would be a good time for a debate, he says, as seen in this Twitter post where he does challenge Trump to a debate. But we'll see what happens with that. But, Trump is trying to not only win libertarian voters to begin with, but stop them from going to Kennedy, which would only ultimately take more votes away from Trump himself. So thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. It helps me out a lot. And make sure to comment your opinions down below, whether you agree, disagree. Let me hear your thoughts. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.